Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident tinkerer and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet-fighting robot series. This week it looks like we're finally catching that true break that we've been yearning after all this time after a pretty solid 3 weeks straight of non-stop events. Aside from, of course, a 1 week reprieve roughly when we had Kaimangar a couple weeks ago. But it looks like this week we're finally slowing down momentum just a little bit, but all the same, still having one brand newcomer that people have been waiting for quite some time now that has made his appearance as an enemy NPC up to this point. But given all the other Gacha Banners and Fierce Battles we have this week, it looks like we're kind of stepping away from the cutesy Valentine's Day motif and themes that we have now that Valentine's Day is officially over, and this time we're getting overrun with insects. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this week's episode I have thus named Insect Infestation. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into what they did announce for this week, starting with the Gacha Banners. Up this week, starting us off fresh, will be CCH0 Bad Hacker, the cockroach type, with a kit of Field Repair, Shoot Trap, Melee Trap, Biped Legs, and the B-Loader leg ability. And he also is capable of Meta Change, where his kit changes very slightly to Field Repair, Bug, Virus, Multiped Legs, and the Carrier leg ability. So basically allows him to really take advantage of being either a passive aggressor or being an active ailment fighter on the team to spam non-stop turn skip on incoming foes that he can outrun. Coming up behind him is the Huntsman Spider type SPI-05 Yacht Spider with a kit of Death Block, Double Power Hammer, Bolty Legs, and the leg ability of Weapon Master. Probably one of the first few bots that have actually openly advocated for the consistent and casual use of AoE skills, given that Power Hammer has the times 1.5 damage bonus to make even scattered and even full AoEs much more worthwhile with a consistent spread damage. And then last but not least, a very popular and all-iconic fan favorite both of the games and of the anime, it is KBT-04, the mighty power of the sun itself, Arc Beetle, with a kit of Hyper Beam, Power Rifle, Mega Gatling, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of G-Loader. Honestly, nothing much can be said for Arc Beetle because everyone who's known him either from the anime or the games knows just how much of an absolute unit and powerhouse he is. But despite that, we still do have some pretty solid Gacha Banners to highlight this week, whether for anyone that is in need of high power shooting or melee parts, or is in need of one to try to take advantage of the passive aggression with that Bad Hacker can offer as a pure set, and the ailment fighter role that he can also fill in for when meta changed. But with that being said, I wouldn't necessarily say anyone here is a absolute must-have in my personal opinion, because all of them have skills that, even though they are relatively unique, such as, say, Yacht Spider's Power Hammer, we do not see very often elsewhere. All the same, I wouldn't necessarily count him as someone who would be considered an absolute must-have unit, unless he's someone that you just absolutely have been dying to get your hands on all this time. For the Fierce Battles that we have this week, we have, continuing on the Insect and Buggy Boy type theme that we have going, is SCB-0 Kana Bun Bun from Medarot 5, with a kit of Triple Bug, Multi-Legs, and the Spearhead leg ability, so really good for flexibility with turn-skipping ailments and being able to fit them anywhere on a team. Then after that, we have DRF-03 Seedy King with a kit of Press, Anti-Air, Press once again, Flight Legs, and the Bullet Rain leg ability, so good for that very solid heavy punish for anyone using 2 or more heavy parts, and of course the niche Anti-Air for anyone that is using Flight Legs excluding Seedy King himself. And then last but not least, we have SCP-0 Poison Scorpy with a kit of Triple Melt, Multi-Legs, and the Desert type leg ability. So unlike the other two which have higher damage or higher speed, in this case Poison Scorpy gets an additional leg terrain that he's good on, aside from the pretty solid coverage that multipeds can get across most other fields. If I had to give the MVP of the week to anyone, however, it was honestly kind of a close call, given that Seedy King, Poison Scorpy, and Kana Bun Bun all offer something that can be potentially useful. But I would honestly have to give the MVP of the week to Kana Bun Bun for this reason, that since turn skip is probably the most viable and most useful useful ailment kind of attack that you can use in current competitive and meta, and the Spearhead Leg ability is something that you really can't sneeze on for that extra passive speed that you get thanks to that ability itself. And then, as mentioned, since multi-peds have very good overall coverage on most terrains, arguably the next best under biped, it's a set of legs you really can't go wrong with. In other news, we also have another skin being added to the convenience store this coming week. This time it is a skin for Arc Beetle, which simply put, I'm just simply calling Dark Beetle for simplicity's sake. Now, unlike the skin that we had with Arc Beetle D, where they basically colored him like Tyrell Beetle, and it felt kind of, how do I put this, off-putting, I suppose. This is actually a skin that Arc Beetle pulls off, or rather, I should say Dark Beetle in this case, pulls off pretty nicely if I'm completely honest. And for any particular superhero fans out there, I can very easily see in the future maybe recoloring that a little bit, using those color chips to get a hold of maybe more of a yellow instead of the red, if you guys kind of see where I'm going with this. Of course, as standard protocols, skins will always cost 100 diamonds, so if you do find yourself as an Arc Beetle main or do end up snagging something of him in this week's Gacha Banners, definitely do take advantage of picking up that skin to make use of for just purely for aesthetic reasons, and let's be honest, because aesthetics always is something that makes putting all these bots together all the more fun. We do also have some minor changes coming in a, for lack of a better term, a mini patch update this coming week too. All these patch notes are geared more towards the live PvP that we have coming up, that we've had going on for some time now. This is more geared towards trying to punish people that try to join games and then suddenly leave them in forfeit just so they can get their 5 daily ruby shards, which honestly, and I have touched on it in the past, but I am going to go ahead and say it again. Let's try to avoid that when possible, guys. We're all good sports here. We're all just want to have fun, and we're all going to get ruby shards at the end of the day anyway, whether we win or we lose. So don't be bad sports. If you're going to play live PvP, commit all the way through and be a good sport about it. But that aside, the upcoming patch notes that they did mention for the live PvP update, if you have 60 seconds of inactivity while trying to decide your turn, the game will now automatically constitute that as an immediate forfeit. Again, try to keep people from disconnecting or maybe force forfeiting in some cases, but also keeping the kind of keeping the pace going more or less between both foes and kind of giving them less chance to think and more time to think on strategy quickly rather than think about it and take time. After that, after a cease function of one bot, you may now willfully request a forfeit and surrender. So basically, as long as you manage to compete to some degree, or maybe if your strategy just got shot down too quick and there's no way you can keep it up, you can now request an automatic forfeit after this if one of your bots does go down. And then last but not least, device haptics, or in this case, the vibrations, can now be toggled on or off for anyone that does feel the need or desire to have that included in their game, just for immersion's sake or for whatever reason whatsoever. That option is now officially open to you. So definitely a lot of really nice updates coming to the live PvP. I personally have not had a chance to really mess with it myself all that much yet. I've had a lot of things going on, mostly with videos and working with my daily grind, and I'm sure we're all kind of well-versed with that at this point with the 2nd anniversary, and then now the Valentines event on top of that. But I do definitely plan to pick it up at some time soon. I am looking forward to seeing these updates do go live sometime here in the very near future. Aside from all this, on the community front, we are still continually looking for translators for the Medarot 3 and the Medarot Reloaded manga translation projects. So if you do have any knowledge of coding, cleaning, or Japanese and have some time on your hands, we are more than appreciative of any efforts or cooperation you'd be willing to provide. And if you do have any questions on that, you are more than welcome to reach out to me or join our Discord in the link provided and in the comments below and ask around. And we are more than happy to bring you up to speed on everything that needs done and everything currently that has been finished up to date. There is, as I've mentioned in previous weeks, a lot of code that does need to be translated for the Medarot 3 translation, and even more incoming games such as 4 and 5 and even Navi. We absolutely would love nothing more than to be able to work on those projects, but we need manpower to do so. So again, if you do have some talents on your hands that we are looking for, and wouldn't mind dropping by to lend a hand or two, we are more than appreciative of any efforts that you'd be willing to provide. Now for this week's highlights for the community art, I have found a couple artists here as I've been peeking around Twitter and so forth and finding in other places. I did find a really nice piece here of God Emperor and a particular user member character. Link provided to, or tweet provided to the original post. Godsin0805 or Rico Veronica, and then of course making a callback to Callie Dory, who I have highlighted a number of times in the past, both for her streams and for her art all the same, and even the Metabots OOC page that she also manages. You'll never be sorry with seeing any of her particular art. She is also always looking for sketch requests or streams, so definitely do feel free to stop on by, give her a follow, give her a like, and definitely give her the support that she so greatly deserves for the fantastic art and content that she does give, not just to the Medarot community, but to everyone to everyone as a whole. But aside from all this, I believe that covers just about everything in this week's episode, so thanks again for stopping by once again, folks. If you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page, or the Metabots Forever communities on Facebook. You can also join us on Discord to Project Rising Beetle's official Discord server in the link provided and in the comments below. And you can also reach out to me privately on Twitter at IsagamIKura. My DMs are always open, so don't be a stranger and feel free to reach out. So if you have any questions or feedback or suggestions on things I could do for future videos, or things I could do to improve my current news network episodes, I am more than open to anything that you might be willing to suggest. Do also give these fine folks a follow as well, Callie Dory at Eru4 on Twitter, who also runs the Metabots OOC page, also on Twitter, for your daily Metabots feed added to your Twitter feed, as well as some fantastic Medarot art all the same, both for her streams and her links to her Twitch. And just in general, always wonderful to see the stuff that's shared between those two pages on my own feed. Do also give Sylvalion041 a follow, who's one of the very big Medarot artists in the community. Fantastic art, wonderful designs, and has competed several times in a lot of the Ori Meta contests that the official Medarot channels have officially submitted. And every design I've seen, I still kind of wonder why half of them have not been selected as winners, because they're just so good. But definitely do give him a follow as well if you want to add more Medarot to your feed, for the fantastic art that he does offer for that. But aside from all this, thanks again for stopping by, folks. It's always happy to have you in for a visit. Until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.